Hey all, this is Anjali, and in this video we'll be doing if statement in Python. Now, whenever you work in a programming language, there is a proper order of executing the statements in a program. That is called flow of control. So flow of control is basically of three types, that is sequential, selection, and iteration. So sequence is the one which we have done in the previous videos where we write a few statements and all those statements are executed one after the other. So if I have any number of statements in my program, all of them will be executed one after the other. That's called sequential. Then the second thing we have is selection, which is what we're going to discuss in this video. So selection means that you have multiple options to go for and have to choose one option out of that and work for that. And that obviously is based on some conditions. So that's called selection control. And iteration or repetition means that you have some code which you want to execute again and again for a given number of times or till a condition is true. So that's iteration that we would be discussing in the upcoming videos. So this video is specifically for discussing if statement, how to use it and where to use it. So if statement is used to check conditions, but before we go how to use if, you should know how to form conditions. So to form conditions, we have operators called relational operators. Relational operators are used to find the relation between two values and they result in a Boolean value, means they result in true or false. So if I check whether a value is greater than the second value, if it is, it will give you true, otherwise it will give you false. Same way we can check for less than, we can check for greater than or equal to. That means if the first value is greater than the second value, then also it will give true. If it's equal, then also it will give true. So that's greater than equal to. Then we have less than equal to. Then we have equal to. Equal to is to check whether two values are identical or not. But for checking the equality, you make sure that you put 2 times equal to sign. So for checking equality, we use double equal to sign because single equal to is treated as an assignment operator which stores the value from the right hand side to the left hand side variable. So for comparison, we use this sign. Then is not equal to, exclamation mark, and equal to sign. So whenever you form a condition with this, it will either give you true or false. Sometimes for big conditions, I need to merge small conditions together and decide whether I have to do this or I have to do something else. So there we use logical operators like and or. Not is also there, but not purpose is to negate the result. If a condition is giving true, it will make it false. If it's giving false, it will make it true. But to join two conditions, we use either and or depending upon our requirement. Like if I have two conditions and I want both of them should be true to get me a true result, then I'll combine that with and. For example, to get a scholarship, you must get above 90 in your subject, let's say IT, and you must have an overall grade which should be A. So I have two conditions that marks in IT should be greater than 90 and grade of overall performance should be A. So I have to check both the conditions and I need both of them to be true for getting the scholarship. So we will use and. But if the situation would be like this, that either you should get more than 90 or you should get your overall grade as A. So we will use or. Now if I get 95 but my grade is B, I'll get the scholarship because one of the condition is true. But if we needed and, then it will be false because one condition is true but the other one is false. So and gives true only if both conditions are true, otherwise it gives you false. Or gives you true when one of them is true or both of them is true. It only gives false when both conditions are false. So we'll be doing how to use that with examples so that you can understand in a better way. But before that, let's see how do we write if statement in Python. When you have to write if statement in Python, we write the keyword if. Keyword is in small letters, so you have to write if in small letters. Then you have to write the condition or the Boolean expression, which gives you true or false. Then a colon sign at the end like this. And on the next line, press a tab and then write down the statements. Python does not have curly brackets as we used to have in C, C++, Java, C# and all. But here you work with indentation. So we need to give a tab to make sure that whatever statements are here with a tab that belong to the if block. So if condition is true, all those statements which would be indented will be executed if the condition is true. And in case condition is false, those statements are simply skipped. Nothing is executed out of that. So this is the first form of using if, which is also called as independent if. How do we use this? Let's say I want to find greatest of three numbers. I have to take three numbers from the user and I have to find greatest of that. Or before we move on to that, I just need to do a very simple thing before I go for the greatest of three numbers. I just need to check whether a student has passed or failed, just like that. So program to check result of a student. Okay, I need to read the marks. So I write marks is equal to int, and I ask the user enter marks, and we need to write input. Yeah. So we get the marks and then we check. We check what? If marks greater than equal to 40 or whatever is your passing criteria. So if marks is greater than equal to 40, I have to print. You saw one thing, when I pressed enter, I didn't have to give a tab. It automatically came indented. So I just need to write the statement which I want to execute if the condition is true. So I write it here and I run this. It asks me for the marks. I enter the marks and it shows the result. Got it? But if I run it again and I enter the marks as 34, it doesn't show me anything. It doesn't show me anything because the condition is false and this statement will not be executed and we don't have any other statement there. So it stops. So another option is if else, but right now we are not working with else. I just need to work with if, so I can give one more if, and I can give a condition here like if marks less than 40, I should print fail. Okay, now if we run this, if we run this, it is executing. When you get this sign, that means it's processing. So it's becoming a bit slow. Meanwhile, it's executing this. We can write another code to program for getting highest of three numbers. Program to get greatest of three numbers. Now, how do you get greatest of three numbers? Let's say my numbers are in A, B, and C. So I have the numbers in A, B, and C. So we get it like this. Enter first number. I have to get three of them. And they should come in B and C. And I have to change the messages. And then over here, we write A greater than B. And now, when is your A greater? Your A is greatest when it's greater than B as well as it's greater than C. So when A is greater than B and it's greater than C, that means this one is the greatest number. So I'll check if A is greater than B and A is greater than C. I should print the value of A and then comma is greatest. Similarly, I need to check for the other two. The other two are B and C. Now, when B would be greatest? B would be greatest if it is greater than A as well as it's greater than C. So B is greater than A and B is greater than C. So we say that B is greatest. Similarly, for C, I can check if C is greater than A and C is greater than B. So if C is greater than A as well as greater than B, we say that C is greatest. So this is all if statements. We don't have else anywhere with it. So processor is going to check all if statements. If it's true, the result will be printed. If it is false, the result will be skipped. So let's execute the first one first. Enter marks 78. If I run, if I run this, it shows pass. And if I run this with a lesser marks, it should show fail, but I clicked on run for this one also. So let's execute this first. Enter first number 67, 34 and 56. So greatest number is 67. If you run it again and you enter the values as 78, 96, 45, so 96 is greatest. So whatever number I'll input, it will give me the result accordingly. If I execute this one and I enter the marks as 23, it shows me fail. So that's how we use if statement in Python. So you just have to take the input from the user or from a file or anywhere, and then we just give a condition. If the condition is true, statement given with that condition is executed, but if that condition is false, statement is simply skipped. Nothing is executed for that condition. And for giving these if statements, there is no count. I can have as many if statements in my code as I want. Okay, so this is how we use independent if statement without having an else. I hope this is clear to you. In case you didn't get anything out of this, do write in the comment section so I can explain you your doubts in the next video. The second one is if-else statement, where we know that we have two options. Either I have to execute a particular set of statements if the condition is true, or I have to execute another set of statements if that condition is false. Like this pass-fail one. If I have to do that, I can do it this way, that instead of giving this condition, I should not change this. I will, so that when you get the code later, you should have both the codes. So I'm just copying it and I'll paste it here. Okay, now I should change here. So it's else. I have given the condition as if marks are greater than equal to 40 pass, otherwise fail. Because it's obvious if the marks are not greater than 40, it would be less than 40. So for 67, it shows pass. And if I run it again and I enter 12, it shows me fail. So the same output I'm getting, but it's another way of doing that. Now in this way, the difference is this, that you don't have to write the condition again. But if else is limited to those places only where you have exactly two conditions, like if true, do this, if false, do this, and you don't need to mention a condition with else. It's obvious that if the upper one is false, it will execute this thing. Okay, let's take another example. If I want to find a person has has a business of buying some stuff and then selling it to other people, and you need to find out whether the person got profit or loss. For that, we need to input the selling price and cost price of the product from the person, and I have to tell whether he got profit or loss. Now it's simple. If the selling price is greater than the cost price, means the person got profit, and if it is not, the person got loss. Okay, so program to find profit or loss. Okay, how do we go for this? We have to take the selling price. So to take the selling price, I write SP is equal to int input enter selling price, copy this, and then enter the cost price, and then we check if SP is greater than CP. If it is so, the result should be SP minus CP. That means how much profit he got, and you want to print that. So print profit is whatever is in the result. Same way I need to do for loss. So I'll write else result should be CP minus SP, because that's loss, cost price minus the selling price, and then you print here loss is result. That's it. I'm done with the code. So let's execute this. Selling price is 70, and let's say the person bought it for 65. So profit is 5. If I run it again, and let's say the selling price is 45, but he bought for 52, so here's loss of 7. So this is how we can use if else. When I know that if it's true, I have to do this. If it is false, I have to do this. So that's how we use if else. I'll explain you one more code. It's a very common question asked number of times to check if a number is even or odd. Now, before checking a number is even or odd, you should know what do you mean by even or odd numbers. So program to check if a number is even or odd. Okay, so I need to take the number first of all. So let's take the number. So we take the number. And what are even numbers? Even numbers are the ones which are divisible by 2. So like I have 2, 4, 6, 8. These are even numbers because they're divisible by 2. And if the number is not divisible by 2, it's odd. Like 3, 5, 7 and all. So how do we check if a number is divisible or not? We discussed the arithmetic operators in the last video. There we did mod. Mod means remainder. I'm going to divide my number by 2 and check, is the remainder 0? If the remainder is 0, that means the number is even. So we can print number is even. Else, if it is not, that means number is not an even number. So number is odd. So I'm going to write number is odd. That's it. Run the code. It'll ask you for a number. I enter 80, which is even. I run this code again and I enter a number, let's say 45. It's odd. So this is how we use if to check whether a number is even or odd. That's it. So this is another code, and this is what we've done here, how to use if, how to use if else. In the next video for if statement, we'll be doing how to use else if ladder. Like we had else if ladder in other languages, here we have elif command for checking multiple conditions. So when I have a series of conditions but I know that only one of them is going to be true, we use elif for that, and that is what we will be discussing in the next video. But till then, go through this video thoroughly. In case you have any doubts, do write in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Along with that, I'm giving you some questions which you can try of your own, and you can post the answers in the comment section, either the code or a link to your Python Jupyter notebook file. Okay, so anyhow you can answer me back for that. So questions would be like, you have to program to input let's say sides of a triangle and print if it is equilateral or not. Okay, and the second one you can try is program to input percentage marks of a student. You just have to ask what is the overall percentage and print the grade accordingly. For that, you need to check if the percentage is greater than or equal to 90, print grade A. If percentage is between 80 to 90, you should print grade B. If percentage is between 60 to 80, print grade C. Otherwise, if percentage is less than 60, print grade D. So this is the set of 2 questions which you have to attempt of your own. So attempt these 2 questions and send me the solutions to verify you've done it right. So this is how we use if and if else in Python. And in the next video, I'll be coming up with how to use elif statement in Python to check multiple conditions. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.